Hello VC. So I'm back with another video, and this will be a vinyl record video, not a car video. So if anybody's looking for cars, wrong video. I've got 5 new albums that have come in the past couple of weeks. I'd like to show those, and then we'll just show a few vintage albums, because most people in the vinyl community, that's what they want to see. They want to see the vintage stuff. So anyways, let's get right into it with the new arrivals. And the first one here is by the band Snakes Don't Belong in Alaska. Latest release by the band, and to give a quick brief summary of what this record sounds like, you just have to say early Hawkwind. Clearly influenced by early Hawkwind on this album, especially an album like Warrior on the Edge of Time. Now with this particular album, the music is fantastic. The music has a very late 60s heavy sound, that heavy sound that was being produced by some bands in the late 60s, obviously like Hawkwind or Iron Butterfly, something like that. So the music is great, and the music would fit in. If you took that music and stuck it on the radio in 1969, it would just fit right in. Now with this record, there's a lot of vocal work on it as well. And a lot of the vocal is narration, not singing. Sort of like, I guess, telling the story of some evil person against Mother Nature or something like that. And this is where the record sort of falls down a bit. Not too keen on the vocal on this album. Like I said, like in Warrior Edge of Time, Hawkwind, they used to have these poems, and the poems, they would put the voices through sound processors and get some really interesting voices that give a very science fiction feel to the music and the work they are doing. Whereas on here, he's just trying to sound really rough and gruff. I think if he had sort of taken the hint from Hawkwind and maybe put the voice through some processing, he might have achieved a little bit better success. Also, the actual words, in some cases, a little bit, I don't know, dumb maybe. I know there's he's making comparisons to like a paper shredder or dead batteries and stuff like that. And if you're trying to do space psychedelic record, I don't think you want to refer to paper shredders and dead batteries. This is, the title is Interstellar Psychedelic, and so it's space rock basically. Great music, vocals kind of kill it a bit. The next album is by Lamp of the Universe, their latest release.
Time for
bass from Lamp of the Universe. It's almost exactly the same situation as with Snakes Don't Belong in Alaska. Fantastic psychedelic music, the really trippy, hippie, 60s psychedelic type of sound. But again, a lot of vocal on this album. And so this work is like pretty much one individual is doing everything, playing all the instruments and all that. And the vocals aren't, to my taste, the vocals aren't that great. It's like the individual is not a great singer, whatever, to sort of sum it up, and is the probably the disappointing part of this album. Again, is the vocal work. The music is fantastic, and a lot of his previous work is predominantly like instrumental. It's only lately that I've seen notice where he's getting more a lot of vocal work on the albums. I think this individual, if he like clearly he's got like sort of that late 60s psychedelic sound. What I would like to see him do is get a vocalist in, a dedicated vocalist, and based on the type of music he's making, someone he should be looking for, someone with a sound, something maybe like a Nancy Nevins from Sweetwater. If you could get someone who had that kind of voice, I mean, her voice was perfect for psychedelic music, and get that person singing on his music, I think he'd have some killer records out. The next one here, I think it's Susan Christie. I think this is a case of an artist who recorded music on a way back when, sometime, and the tapes sort of got lost. The music never got put out there for the public, and it's a case of years later, those tapes are found, and they go ahead and put them out on a record. And this is an absolute excellent record.
See the transient beauty of the dairy-free queen, strutting from car to car as though she was clean. Oh yeah, she's nice, alright. Long as there's no daytime, just night. Why pretend you don't?
This is an excellent album, sort of folk, acid folk. If you're really into that late 60s folk scene, this is one that you really got to check out. Really good record. Next record by a band, electronic band, called Wet Satin. This album is what I found, one side very good, the other side not so good. And some of the music sort of reminded me of the background music in Italian porn films. You guys know what I'm talking about. And so the thing with when you're doing electronic music, I mean, every kid in the world now can get software on his home PC that allows you to create music, electronic music, and generate MP3 WAV files, whatever. I mean, years ago, I was using something like Cakewalk, Sonar Cakewalk, or something like that. And so I think if you're going to go out and start making electronic music, you really have to be at the top of your game, because a lot of it, I mean, people in their home PCs are doing a really good job of making their own music. This is an album that good but not great. The one side, like I said, is much better than the other. I'd probably give it like a 6 out of 10. I think when I sampled this album, I happened to sample a couple of the best tracks on there, and that's why I went out and bought it. And then after giving it a couple of listens, I thought, well, it's okay, but it's not great. This last one that I'll show, the last of the new ones that come in. This is an artist that's been around a long time, but I only recently sort of discovered him, recently being like within the last 6-8 months ago or so. And this is the first album I picked up by him. And the artist is Wax Taylor.
Hello?
Hello. You know, sometimes we're not prepared for adversity, When it happens, sometimes we're caught short. We don't know exactly how to handle it, Sometimes we don't know.
First, I'd like to ask you a few questions.
That's very important.
Do you know who I am?
I don't know.
Is it true?
I don't know. I don't know. I don't know.
Are you being coy?
Well, I don't know.
Don't get me mad. We only want to ask you a couple of questions.
Two records in here. I guess predominantly like a trip hop artist with other genres mixed in. What you get on this album is a lot of sampling, which to me I believe sounds to me like dialogue from movies getting mixed into the music. I found it to be very interesting, something that I haven't heard too much of in the past, and found it pretty interesting. So I intend to look up and see if I can find some more of his albums at a reasonable price. I think this is like from Europe. On Amazon Canada, his records have an outrageous price, so it's cheaper to buy through a European distributor and pay the mailing and save money that way. But so that was the last of the new ones that have just recently come in, and what I'll do now is we'll show a few vintage albums. Me and Bunny Bear. So what I'm going to show today is some of the 60s, because a lot of the VC guys, you're really into that 60s retro stuff. And this will be sort of like the grungy blues music from the 60s, whatever. And no sound bites. I'm just going to quickly whip through a whole bunch of these. And these are ones that, if you're really into the garage scene from the 60s, these are worth investigating if you don't already have them in your collection. And we're going to start with one that I think is sort of like a foundation for that early garage. David Clayton Thomas and the Shays, A Go-Go. This is a great album. If you're not familiar with it, check it out. Very early garagey sound. Excellent. This is a Canadian press. That's Capitol Records actually, but it's a Canadian pressing. Roman Records, I guess, here in Canada. Great album. Here's one I think some people are probably familiar with. Let's see if we can get it out of the bag here. Chad Allen and the Expressions, aka the Guess Who. This one is it Shaken All Over? Yeah, was a big hit on that one. That's worth looking into. Was it Scepter Records here in Canada? Probably a Canadian press. But really worth looking into. So of course, if you're doing that early 60 garage stuff, you want to pick up some of the very early Rolling Stones, probably. There's the Rolling Stones. I think this is their first UK release. Decca label. It's a great one to have in your collection. Another early Stones one that's quite good. I think this might be a German pressing here, yeah. Again on the Decca label. Early Stones. Sort of really great, so that bluesy garage music. There's a couple albums that are really good to have in your collection if you're a 60s guy. Them. Another one by the same group. It's really quite good. I'm guessing this is probably their second release. Yeah, I think that same label. One that I think most everyone's familiar with because there's a big monster hit on this one. The Nashville Teens, Tobacco Road was the big hit. On the London label. Worth having in your collection. Yeah. London. A group I really like here. I'm not sure if first this might be the first one album here. Yeah, let's do this one first. And this is they don't get as much mention in VC that, but this is the Liverpool 5. On this one, they have their version of "I'm Not Your Stepping Stone." I think it's one of my favorite versions of the stepping of that song. Really worth checking out. What label are these guys on? Oh, RCA. They're on the RCA label. And they had this another album on. Worth checking out this band if you're into that 60s music. I think there's some really good stuff. I hear there's a band that many people are aware of when you're collecting 60s music, and that's the Seeds. This is the one with their hit "Pushing Too Hard." I guess this is their first release. Crescendo label. Yeah, several pretty good albums those guys put out. Here's just one more I'll show. I think I got everything by them. This is the Web of Sound. This is really good. And then one of those Flowers or something, which is more of a psychedelic album. Where these are a little bit more garagey blues type. Again, that's Crescendo label. Here's one that a lot of people seem to like in the VC. The Lees, with their version of "Hey Joe." Seems to get a lot of people liking this group a lot. What label are these guys on? the Mira label. So, more obscure label. Well, we got three. One group I really liked. Picked up a bunch of their stuff. All these records I picked up years and years ago. Well before the vinyl resurgence. Here we have the Pretty Things. What's yeah, Roadrunner on this one. It's not bad. This is pressed in the Netherlands. It's on the Fontana label. Great album by them. Another one. Get the picture. Same thing. Oh, out of the Netherlands. And one more of them. Great. So there. That should satisfy all you retro fans out there. So, the other day, Bunny Bear and I were just hanging out around the house, listening to some music. I decided to hook up with OCS. I figured I would order the family-sized bucket of cluster pucks. Great little item to have for snacking. Low in cholesterol, high in THC. You can't go wrong. So, as we sat there eating our cluster pucks, I already downed about 3 pucks, I would say. I started reaching another level of consciousness. So I turned to Bunny Bear and I said to him, which version of the Al Green song, Take Me to the River, do you like best? Do you like the Talking Heads version? Or do you like the Bryan Ferry version? And he looked at me with his glazed over eyes. And he simply said, Wonder Woman. And I said, what?
Wade in the water, wade in the water, children, wade in the water. Washing me down, washing me down. Love you like I do. All the trouble that you put me through.